In theory, we are online right now.
Indeed.
So are you interviewing for Dallas tomorrow, or I forget how it
Yeah,
is?
I'm interviewing tomorrow on Teams, and then my first week there will be on site, but they'll fly me over to do it.
Ah, cool.
Yeah. So on-site training, get to meet the team, blah blah blah, and then they ship me right back to Philadelphia, and I can just work from home.
I wish I was flown places. Instead, I had
That's
to
a great thing.
instead I had to drive to another company in Minnesota and just out in the middle of nowhere.
Don't stop applying local. That's what happens.
Or they're just
Applying
go
everywhere in the country.
Yeah, or you're going to interview well and they're just going to murder you. Like there's always
Or
that.
that. That's always a possibility.
It's go
It
turn
is Texas.
Yeah, it's going to turn into one of those movies. It'll be like the company version of Speak No Evil.
Oh, don't say that.
Like your boss is just gonna be super charismatic, and then it's like, oh, we're a family here, and that's when the weirdness comes out.
Yeah. Why is that guy naked? He just sleeps that way. All right. On the clock? No. Yeah. All right. We work.
And which is why this is going to be an entirely just random horror movie review. No, so we are operational.
Oh
So
man.
welcome everyone to Animesplaining Gaiden, the second of this run, because previously we did Suicide Squad Isekai, which was
So good.
better than anyone expected. This time we
Yeah.
did season one. I will use air quotes of Castlevania, where there's about less than 2 hours of content, nothing
Yeah.
happens, and and this fucking sucked.
It's an ad for season two. That's my only gripe with it. That's really all it is. It's the Age of Ultron of anime, where it's like you're just advertising Infinity War now. Why are you here? They introduce the characters, and that's it. That doesn't count as a season one to me. That should all be done in one episode. So that just tells me they're bad at time management. That's all that tells me.
Yeah, I don't understand why they went this route too, because it's like, okay, first episode I was actually kind of enjoying. It's like, oh, here's Dracula's sort of tragic backstory where he's this immortal and he learns how to love, and
Yeah, that was
then
pretty quick.
the church, because it's a Warren Ellis work, so the Catholic Church is involved. Um,
Church
come
bad.
comes in and ruins everything. Local church ruins everything. That can.
That's a good summary of the show. That's really all you need. You don't need to watch it. You can just jump to season two. They'll exposition the characters again. I'm sure. I'm certain they'll exposition the characters.
Yeah, just know that Trevor Belmont has a whip. Uh,
Yep.
he speaks only in quips because this was made in 2017. He has he
Everyone's
ha-
kind of quippy.
Yeah, he has sexy mage lady, and then they befriend sexy vampire guy with Alucard.
Yeah.
But that's the end. That's when action actually happens, and we think that something's gonna happen. But deep down, you've seen that this is already episode 4, and we're like 10 minutes in. So it's like they're not gonna go anywhere with this. They're just
Yeah.
gonna have a big to be continued at the end of this.
Yeah, but it's a sizzle reel of a season. I wanted to compare it to the first season of The Office. That was only 6 episodes to kind of whet your appetite. But at least that one contained stories and gave you a gist of what the show is going to be about. This is 4 episodes of introducing the characters. That's all this is. It's sort of like watching Samurai Champloo, except Mugen, Jin, and Fu get an episode to themselves, and then the adventure starts. And that's the second season. We don't even get to watch until then.
But
They meet at the end of season one.
is it a sizzle reel? Like, is there anything where you were like wowed at the animation or the design? Like, the the entire like art style, and you can see it partially behind my face because the I have the little desktop picture up, but the way the characters are like crafted, and I don't want to get into the discourse with the stupid Tomb Raider animated series. It sucks. Like it sucks just because it's bland. It doesn't suck because of character design, but these specific, like, not necessarily anime adjacent, but like pseudo realistic, proportioned, like animated characters, they don't look good. Like it's the same, like it's the old DC animated style from when you had like Justice League War and like that big long running thing that ended with the that kind of started with Flashpoint Paradox and went to the one where basically Apocalypse kills off the entire universe.
Yeah, the animated New 52 verse that they had going for a bit. Now that you mentioned it, I can't unsee it. That's pretty much the same style, and I was about to compliment them. I really enjoyed the look of the show. I enjoyed the look of the monsters. I enjoyed the fights a bit. They weren't the most spectacular, but when they came, they were pretty cool. But yeah, I guess we have seen this before. Everyone kind of looks the same, and now it doesn't help that their voices are kind of the same. There's no reason for that, but everyone kind of sounds the same. If you're not looking at the screen, you cannot tell who's talking. They don't have the same voice.
Unless there's a quip, then it's probably Trevor.
It's usually Trevor.
If someone's saying jokes and talking about how they're like drunk, it's probably Trevor.
Which I'm not sure how I buy him as a lead. He could fight sometimes. Other times he gets his ass kicked. Like, be consistent. What is it? What is this character? I don't know. Is he supposed to be Peter Parker or is he supposed to be like a savant? I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I'm not sure where they were going with that, because like he has this speech about how he hasn't lost a fight, and in the episode where he's like brought in, then he gets beat up by the church dudes. But then like when he fights, it's like some weird sort of like, oh, I'm actually very good with this whip type thing.
Yeah. He kicks a sword into a Cyclops' eye at one point. Like, you could have done that this whole time, but these four drunks got the best of you. That's not consistent. It doesn't make sense to me.
I will give the show credit on animation and design. That Cyclops is cool. The weird blue dog thing that is like you have a friend here in hell, and like the only good scene in this entire thing is when the dog thing talks to the priest at the end. Well, and when Dracula threatens the town. I guess that's fun. Where
all the good scenes are Dracula related. Everything related to Dracula is amazing, and then we cut to someone else, and I just stopped giving a shit. I do not care about the heroes. They've set up Dracula so well that I'm rooting for Dracula. I thought he was the hero. Apparently that's the guy we gotta stop. Why? He deserves his vengeance. I don't blame him at all.
Yeah, is there a universe where these 4 episodes are just Dracula's backstory? Like, we just see him as, like, not necessarily turned, but, like, he's a vampire who's kind of getting set up, and he's evil, but he's, like, outside evil, and then Lady comes in, teaches him the meaning of reason and love, and then she dies, and, like, your episode 4 is the episode 1 of this. And then we go to the main stuff?
That would be great. That's what I was expecting. They did all that before the intro of the first episode. Like, all the interesting things happen in the first 5 minutes. They squeeze it together, and then they just slow down for 4 episodes. The pacing was very off. Like, I don't even understand why Dracula let this woman in, because he's Dracula. But he just kind of gave her a chance because, I don't know, plot demanded it. I don't see what he even likes about her, how he fell in love with her or anything. He just decided not to kill this one for some reason, and now he feels bad. It's very rushed.
Yeah, it's very rushed, and some parts just don't really make any logical sense. Like, I understand that Warren Ellis likes to make his bad guys religious figures, just something that he likes to do. But when you have Dracula set the entirety of the sky on fire and speak to you in fiery sky where the entire town can see it, and says, hey, get the fuck out of here within a year, or I'm going to do to this town like that one song in the Prince of Egypt movie.
And then he comes back in a year and they're celebrating her death. Are these people stupid? Like, what did you think was going to happen? He's not the bad guy to me. He's not even close to he deserves all of this. This is all very well deserved. I'm not on Alucard's side. I'm not on Belmont's side. They're pricks. That this man have his vengeance and sleep.
When you don't really get the Belmont side of it, it's just like, oh, your family did black magic, and it's all off screen, and we're only going to talk about, not show anything. Like,
Yeah.
okay,
All 4 episodes are just a teaser. You cannot call this a season. You cannot, in all good nature, just call this a season 1 of anything. Nothing happens. You don't even get to know the characters. You get to know their names. They get introduced. I don't know Alucard's deal. I don't know Belmont's deal. I just know people say about them, and hopefully we get to see more in season 2. But that's if you watch season 2.
Yeah,
that should be a prerequisite.
It felt very much like Jujutsu Kaisen 0, where like you're expected to take in like some lore of the games. Like they don't necessarily handhold you. And Castlevania is a very simple game. Like, here's Dracula, go fight him. Here's, like, you have these rooms that you can go into. One requires a double jump. And you just do that.
I can't wait for that episode. It's just 30 minutes. How are we going to get over there? I don't know. Maybe we jump twice.
But we need a special item to jump twice. We need the winged shoes.
You're selling it already. I didn't watch a season 2 just of that.
No, I've read about season 2, and I know that it involves vampire politics, and I am like checked out.
Yeah. This is why werewolves are better. Just saying. People get really lost in the weeds of vampires. Just kill people.
We could have watched Devilman Crybaby, but you chose Castlevania.
I was curious. I'm not a Castlevania guy. I know very little about it, but I've heard so much. I thought this would be a great intro, which it's an intro. I'll give it that much, but that's all it is.
Yeah,
I could have Wikipedia'd on this.
I had some people saying good things about this, and I can understand probably if you're watching this in 2017 that it's better than other Western animation because it exists in a realm where that, like, DC New 52 universe is still happening.
Yeah.
But everything is better now. We have My Adventures with Superman now. We have Batman the Caped Crusader. Our cup runneth over for, like, good animated stuff that also has good story to it. It's like, hell, like, I am not the biggest fan of the Legend of Vox Machina, the Critical Role animated show. It's better than this. Like, the characters make sense. The quips are actually funny on occasion. And it's like watching a Saturday morning cartoon show. Warren Ellis is the wrong person to do this Castlevania series. It's so pointlessly edgy, and everyone, like, speaks with this random profanity, and I understand it's like that's just his thing, but it's like we're in, like, medieval times, so it doesn't really feel earned. It kind of feels like when you're in certain parts of Game of Thrones and everyone is speaking in the same way. It's like, nah, this isn't for me.
Everyone kind of sounds like Jack Sparrow. It sounds vaguely like Jack Sparrow. It's worse when they start quipping. Like, you're just trying to get Johnny Depp on here. Everyone sounds like Johnny Depp. Well, that's the beauty of the show. Everyone looks the same and they sound the same. And nothing really happens.
Yeah, and there's sadly not much else to say about it. It's the problem with these things is they're entirely is when they're forgettable. It's like, okay, how do we talk about this for at least half an hour? And we have 15 minutes right now.
That's why I was bringing up the idea, like, maybe we should watch season 2. Like, it's fine that it's movie length, these 4 episodes, but it's not movie length content, if that makes sense. All of this content could have been squeezed into 30 minutes, and they just kind of chose not to. They could have edited their way around. They could Castlevania Kai this very easily into 1 episode. They just choose not to. And a lot of the dialogue is very repetitive as well. So it's lots of drawn out silences, lots of repetitive dialogue, lots of, hey, you're the guy that did this. Yes, I am. And that's the guy that did, like, they went into this whole Belmont history for the longest while in episode 2. And he could have long just ran out of there and just avoided the fight entirely. But instead, he's getting berated by these poor guys, gets his ass kicked, and then leaves. And I cannot cheer for him.
Yeah,
I don't feel this guy.
we need to kill the speakers because the speakers will get rid of Dracula, but no, killing the speakers won't get rid of Dracula. Oh, well, we're corrupt church people, and it's just
It's not enough for me. It doesn't help that he made the church so unlikable already that I already want them to get their just desserts. So why am I continuing to? They got it as far as I'm concerned. They've been taken over by Dracula. That's the end of the story for me. I don't need to see anything else. Like, he got them, good, okay, I can leave now. It's like trying to shorten the Punisher movie into 20 minutes. That's all they did. Like, they attacked his family, he got them back. Okay, well, the story's done, right? No one's coming back to get the Punisher. I don't care about that part. The Punisher won. That's the story. Dracula won. It's over, right? Nothing should happen from here on out.
So, if someone, before we get into like some bonus content, because we'll just talk like Oddity or something, might as well just review some random ass horror movies because we're in spooky season. If someone is saying like, hey, I'm kind of interested in Castlevania, I'm looking for something like vaguely fantasy adjacent, what would you recommend instead of this? Because I wouldn't really recommend Suicide Squad Isekai over it. That's kind of goofy by comparison. But I'd recommend like Legend of Vox Machina or Arcane over this.
I recommend JoJo's Bizarre Adventure over this.
Oh yeah, JoJo's
Straight JoJo. It's like, this is clearly what you want to be. You're just being bad at it, so I'm just gonna watch JoJo's now. That's the vibe I got the entire time. You're a less funny JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Like, you're taking yourself way too seriously compared to JoJo, so I just watched it.
We're acting like people need an excuse to watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah. Here's another one. Castlevania exists? Watch JoJo.
Yeah. It starts where they're fighting vampires, and then they fight, like, bigger vampires that are, like, the equivalent of Aztec gods, and then they fight the same vampire that they did in Season 1, except now they have ghost buddies, and if you think that the ghost buddies are going to go away, because why were they not in Season 1 and 2, then too bad. Everything is the ghost buddies now.
Plus, the quips are actually funny, so that's very helpful. You won't roll your eyes at any of the quips. Instead, just watch JoJo. Or even Suicide Squad Isekai, as mentioned. Like, there are a lot of things you could be watching besides Castlevania. But I will say that I appreciate Castlevania's style, just not so much their writing. It's enough to get me to at least want to try the games, because it looks like something that's up my alley. But I just wish the show wasn't so slow. Maybe I'll appreciate it more once I watch the other seasons, like I keep hearing. But Season 1 so far, I'm not calling this a season. This is the preview before the real season.
You just reminded me of something. So, I do not recommend playing like the old NES games. They are very dated. You are married to your jump arc. They are needlessly difficult. The one I would recommend is probably Castlevania Symphony of the Night. That is the first, like, by and large good one. You play as Alucard. It was made for the original PlayStation. There's voice acting. It's not good voice acting, but it has that flavor which I wanted out of this, which is like a bunch of community theater people just going ham with how they are acting. Like when you, at the start of the game, you are Richter Belmont as like the preamble, and he's fighting Dracula as like the end of the previous game, and everyone sounds like they're recording in a bathroom with Richter Belmont going like, "Die, monster! You're not long for this world." And
it's part of the charm.
And then the guy who plays Dracula is just goes ham and's like, "What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets. But enough of this talk. Have at you!" and it's
You
great.
have to go over the top to sell it. That's the only way you're gonna sell. You can't undersell those lines. You have to deliver it over the top. And now I gotta play this because I keep getting recommendations of that game. So I could try that game and get my Castlevania fix without 4 boring episodes introducing me to the characters. Just get straight to the cutting like I want. Oh wait, there's a video game for that. I'll just do that.
Yeah, and you can play it on emulators or you can just purchase it. Like it's available on a lot of the actual shops. But actually, when I think I looked at it on emulator, it may have been like discontinued at the. Like, the problem with the popular stuff is the emulator ROMs are no longer available. I had to pull my old data for Castlevania. Like, I fortunately have my actual physical copy. But
I kind of want to see if I can still get my hands on the N64 version. That was my introduction to Castlevania, and I've been disappointed since because every other game is a side-scroller, and this is the one 3D one I've actually played.
Castlevania.
And apparently that's the bad one?
Yeah, Castlevania 64 is the bad one. Like,
it's supposedly the bad one. That's what I want, more of that. Like when I played that one Mega Man, I was like, oh, it's all 3D, and then the rest, we're back to 2 dimensions.
I mean, if you want a like 3D Castlevania game, you might like Lord of Shadows, which is like a God of War clone that was made in like the 360 era. Like Lord of Shadows and Lord of Shadows 2 are apparently really good. I never played them myself, but they're all right.
I'll give them a go. I was Googling them earlier, and they're pretty cheap. It's like $3 or something on Xbox. They're giving them away. Here, just have all the Castlevania games you want. I have no excuse not to try it now. It's the price of peanuts.
But much
$50.
Much like Metroid games, the best Castlevanias are 2D. They're the 2D map games, where you constantly have to go back and do fun things, and there are weird secrets and wall chicken and stuff like that.
Yeah, which is the kind of genre that's grown on me lately, especially playing this one game called Carry On. That was so good, it got me into the whole Metroidvania thing. Now I just crave more games like that. Like that just felt really good to just zone out and use my fingers for a few hours. No thinking required. More of that, please.
I've just been playing Baldur's Gate. So much Baldur's Gate. Just that game is never ending. It will consume us all.
That's why I stopped playing Red Dead 2. I just need short blips. I'm just back to Overwatch 2, no plot, just shoot things. Just shoot things and shut up.
The only thing I remember about Red Dead 2 is how much it did not respect my time. Like, you cannot play like for an hour in that game. Like you are required to give that game at least 2 to 3 hours to do anything.
Yeah, and if you try to do it for 30 minutes, you don't really get that far. So you're playing like this really boring short intervals of the game. Like I get to ride my horse for a bit, and then I had to leave. That was the game. That's all I got. I milked a cow or something. I churned butter. You did some chore, and then you got to leave. That's how I describe Red Dead.
I'm just going to hang out with people in camp.
Yeah. I've done that before. I've wasted like 4 hours. Like I did not leave this area. I just spoke to everyone here, and then I took a nap. This is just life. This is just real life. Why am I doing this?
You're just playing Cowboy The Sims.
I'm playing a cowboy simulator. Then I gamble for a bit. Oh, right there goes my money. Like, why is this life? I can just do this in real life.
Why wasn't there a gambling game in Cyberpunk? I wonder. They should have.
I never questioned it.
There should have been a gambling minigame in Cyberpunk.
Yeah. Even Shenmue had gambling minigames. Like that's, you need that in your free roam game.
Yeah, so Yakuza has a ton of gambling minigames. It's chock full of gambling minigames.
It's a damn staple. That doesn't make. Yeah, Cyberpunk should have had a lot. Considering you should have at least had a casino. A casino would have made sense in Night City. Somewhere.
So anyway, we need to buy time. So let's talk horror movies. Since we're not going to have an episode next week. We're not turning around the Gaiden that quickly. But we watched Oddity. I know that. We were both kind of disappointed.
It's just the ending. I rarely have an entire movie ruined by its ending for me, but Oddity was that case. It was a lot of build up and a lot of atmosphere, and I was really into it. and then nothing happens. Not really. All the payoff is supposedly off screen. Like it's kind of the promise, like these guys will get their comeuppance, but you have to imagine it. You know who dies? The fucking lead, the person who should be fine. All the good guys go down the tubes, and I don't know. It just kind of leaves me with a dour feeling.
After seeing Smile 2, I want the same like treatment to be done for Oddity. I want to see Oddity with a budget, where like it can just do more. Like I did not like Smile 1. I think its theming was really, really bad. When you combine like a theme of depression with a monster that you can only kill by going quietly to a place alone and murdering yourself. It's not great, and I mean that's still the mechanic of the creature in Smile 2, but now Smile 2 is so attached to like this is how isolating fame is, combined with the only time that you are a resource to other people is when you are productive. So if you have like a back injury or something like that, just the nature of you not being able to move because your back hurts, it's like, oh, you're being such a hindrance on people. It's like, fuck.
I have to see Smile too, so it does a better job putting up what the first one tried then.
Yes, and so I guarantee that like just the beginning of Smile 2 is better than the entirety of Smile 1, because they pick it up with the cop character from the end of Smile 1. They play with the mechanics a bit of how the creature works, and you basically get like a brief like action cop thriller starring Kyle Garner for some reason, and it's way better than it has any right to be. My only critique about it is that the Smile monster is not like making the dude hallucinate through the entire thing, so maybe it just like makes the women hallucinate and takes them over, because they like establish that this is on like day 6 of this guy being infected. It's like, that doesn't make sense if like it works this way with these other people, but whatever, it's a movie, it operates the way it needs to.
It's all in service of the plot. just get us to the end.
But yeah,
I think it doesn't have as many holes as the first, though.
And granted, I will say that Oddity is worth the money. Smile 2 was worth the price of admission. I don't think
if you do watch,
go ahead.
Watch Caveat. If you're gonna watch Oddity, watch Caveat with it, so at least like appreciate what the director is trying to do, and there's like a whole universe he's clearly building within this thing, and that's awesome. But now that I say that, no, Caveat will make you feel worse about Oddity. Caveat is a better movie with this too. Oddity's fine, is just that ending really sours me on it. Caveat has a better ending by default.
But you've watched a lot of the VHS movies. Is there like a standout VHS anthology?
Oof. For me, it's between, well, obviously the first one. The first one's going to be the best one. And I might be the fourth one, 94. 94 is really good for no reason. I do appreciate that. They try to veer away from the previous plot of, say, like the TV infects you, and then you have to make your own video, and then you record that video, put it on, and somebody watches that, and it affects. It's very similar to Smile. That I already mentioned it. It's super similar to Smile. but by the time they get to 94, they just kind of extend that whole thing, and it kind of becomes like those episodes of Rick and Morty where they're just switching channels, except you switch channels, and here's a horrible thing. And you switch channels, here's another horrible thing. So that's just a true anthology. And 94 is the best one so far. I can't say it. 94 was the best one until I saw Beyond. I am biased to Beyond because cosmic horror is my shit, and that one just goes full Lovecraft in it. So I absolutely watch Beyond. I'd recommend the series. I still have to get through the Terrifier ones as well. But VHS, wow, I gladly watch those again. I'm a sucker for anthologies, and it doesn't help that we watched the Twilight Zone movie a few weeks ago, so that got me back on the anthology kick. Like I just love short, concise stories. Get your point across, and don't take 4 episodes to do it. and just introduce the characters and then have to wait for another season to see where you're going. No, just you have 50 minutes, get your point across, get your monster across, and do a good job of it. So VHS is great.
Yeah, I do agree with Joey that Twilight Zone is buttressed by two of its stories, and then there's two like not very good ones. But he got the wrong two good ones. Well, aside from Terror at 50,000 Feet, but everyone knows that that's the good one. But
yeah,
but he didn't like.
That's a gimme.
How do you not like the Joe Dante one? I don't understand.
Yeah, the kid with the wild imagination that just anything comes to life. Because I first saw it, it was Bart Simpson doing. So I just thought that was a quirky episode of The Simpsons. I didn't know it was like a reference to anything or anything. But now seeing the original, that's way scarier. Seeing someone bring a live cartoon to real life and this thing, well, it might just kill you because it fits the set of the cartoon universe using cartoon rules, that's scary. And it doesn't help that Joe Dante just generally does really scary practical effects like the Gremlins. Like, Gremlins is a PG movie. But the Gremlins themselves are terrifying. You could create terrifying characters without having a gore-filled R-rated horror movie, and I do appreciate that about them. So by default, he made the scariest segment without a hint of blood, and I really appreciate directors like that.
Have you watched the first Creep Show at all recently?
Not recently, no. That's one of the ones that... Is that the one where one of the stories has that thing in a box that eats you? Or am I thinking of, like, the wrong thing? Might be Creep Show, too.
The main thing that I remember of Creep Show, the original, is the one where Stephen King turns into a bush.
Yeah. Then yes, I've seen Creep Show, just not recently. That is vaguely in the back of my memory. Like, oh yeah, I guess that did happen. I suppose.
Like I am way into movies where people turn into trees. Give me Creep Show. Give me The Fountain. Give me Annihilation. Like, if you can turn your actor into a tree, I'm here for it.
Technically Furiosa at this point.
Oh yeah, Furiosa too. Like,
yeah, Chris Hemsworth is a tree now.
give me people turning into trees.
Your punishment is your tree.
Like
Don Cheadle Captain Planet says, everyone's trees.
Yeah, what's who's it? Hobgoblin 2 or whatever. Troll 2.
Oh, yeah. Troll 2.
Hobgoblin 2.
That one we could review. Instead of watching Castlevania, just watch Troll 2.
Because you can't piss on hospitality.
Yeah. The greatest horror movie of all time. We're giving you many things to watch besides Castlevania.
Yes, there is.
Well, I know I like season 2.
For all I know, I will too. Maybe they wasted all of the stuff on that. Maybe it gets better after they axe Warren Ellis, because he was kicked off the show as of 2021. So that new Nocturne one is Ellisless.
So really all you have to do is get through the first few seasons of this Castlevania, then watch Nocturne and see if that's any better. Maybe he's the problem. Maybe that's the source, because his characters are very similar, and they're very dull as a result. I'm cheering for none of them. They have cool designs, and that goes as far as you can take it.
Yeah, but that's kind of the nature of the Castlevania protagonists. Like, the thing that I've learned, so since I did our Arcade Pit, the creator of Arcade Pit, Smite, does a long-running thing where it's called a damage shuffler. So he has 120 games that every time he takes damage in a game, it randomizes and kicks him off into another game. And his goal is to complete all 120 of these games while still under the damage shuffler. And he has a few Castlevanias in there. And the one thing that I've learned is all Castlevania protagonists run the same, because they all, like, move their arms, because you need to show movement in your sprite, but they all, like, move their arms circular like this. So it's like they're just like a little train. He just
the whole way.
I've
like a little bicycle.
Yeah, I've made the joke to Tina that I'm going to get on a treadmill at the gym and just start jogging like that. This is what peak performance looks like.
See how many copycats you picked up. That guy's got something. Makes sense. All right. This is what the kids are doing. then stop and judge them.
Yep. But either way, we have a short episode because there's not much to talk about here. We made some great recommendations for horror movies, so might as well give this a score so far.
Can you? It's like I said for the first 30 minutes of Spider-Man. Like I can review this movie now. I'm good.
Yeah, this gets the same treatment as Jujutsu Kaisen 0. This gets a 2. Like I can't give it a 1. It's not completely insulting to my intelligence. There are good parts in it, but dear God, it's boring for only being like 90 minutes long.
Like my answer's somewhere around there because at least the animation is good. Well, like at least the action scenes are good. I'm like squeezing it out. It's pretty moments. I'll give it like a 3 or a 4.
I wouldn't. This doesn't deserve a 4. Don't insult it by giving it a 4. Don't insult the other 4s.
It's a 3 for now. I kind of feel reserved because this very much feels like The Office season 1. In that, don't judge The Office based on season 1, please. So I kind of want to reserve my judgment here. But yeah, this so far.
Yep. So hopefully it's all upward from here. But I think there's at least like 2 more seasons with Ellis as head writer. So let's just see how it is. I get to watch a few episodes of Ghost in the Shell as we go into that, the final arc. Now that we're out of the filler, there's only 1 episode more of filler, and then you get raids on like third-party government institutions and things like that, and it's super fun. So,
and I will say this about Ghost in the Shell: even the boring episodes we just talked about last week, watch that instead of Castlevania. Any given boring episode of watch the worst episode of Ghost in the Shell standalone complex over Castlevania. Do that. Time well spent.
Yep. So we are off.